I would say that just to give you an example, I don't think we ran one route yesterday. I have no idea where that route came from, and it's one of our staple routes. So we need to do a better job of doing what we're supposed to do. The motto today is everybody just do your job and don't worry about anybody else's job. Just do your job. And at some point, we've got to become a team. The difference between a group and a team is significant, all right? So to be a team, you have to do your job. And then you bring it together collectively, and then you become a team, and you trust the guy beside you that is going to do their job. That's how you become a team. Until you get to that point, you're a group, all right? The better team beat our group yesterday. And that's the same thing I told our guys, so this isn't a secret. I think our guys are committed to doing what they're supposed to do, coaches, players, everybody, to becoming a team. We tried to do that during training camp, but you don't get that. You don't figure that out sometimes until you hit adversity, all right? That's when you realize, are you a group or are you a team? Well, hopefully when we go to New England, we will be a team. And hopefully, and I'll say this too, all this talent we've got, that's gotten us 2-4, okay? So now let's try something different. Let's try to be a team and see if we can be better moving forward.
But didn't you think, though, and I think you emphasized this, didn't you think in Indianapolis you became a team?
I do to a certain extent, yes. But when you start talking about a team, you have to be able to trust everybody out there and trust the guy lining up, look to your left, look to your right, and see if you can trust them, all right? We've got to develop trust in each other, that we're gonna do our job. Everybody's gonna do their job. So yeah.
What stopped you from this point from getting to where you're a team instead of a group?
I think everybody doing their job. And if I've got any hesitation that somebody's not going to do their job, I'm not really worried about my job.
From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Monday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine, into our 24th consecutive year, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is here.
Les, you can do a 5-hour show on that clip alone.
I got to tell you something. I'm scared. That's number one. And number two, where do we go from here? I mean, he said he didn't know. He didn't
to
see
New England in 2 weeks.
He didn't see one route that it was supposed to be.
One of the routes he didn't recognize.
He didn't recognize.
I do believe there was a quote in there, Les. Let's try something different. Let's try to do a team. So am I to believe that Freddie Kitchens is saying, to this point, all I've seen is a collection of individuals trying to come together but not really being a team? Now let's try something different. Let's try team.
D-Man, this is I wish I didn't like him as much as I do. Right? I mean, we're put into a bad position over all the years. I can name you, I don't know, 10 baseball managers, 10 head coaches, and I could list them, guys that I like, guys that I didn't like personally, which had nothing to do with how I looked at the games that they played. But look, you're right, 5 different things. You 5 hours you could go on this. Just what he heard
on that 2 to 3 minute clip alone. I advocated for Freddie Kitchens hiring as the head coach because he impressed me that much as a play caller last year. I thought that another team would seek him out. So I'm not going to sit here and bail at this point. But I believe, and I told you this before the show, Les, in the pre-show prep, that all of the responsibilities that Freddie Kitchens has as a first-year NFL head coach has adversely affected or compromised his play calling. I think it's infected his play calling because the play calling in the offensive mind was what got him hired.
Absolutely.
But that is being compromised by him as a head coach because the decisions he's making they just defy logic.
Okay, what we didn't hear yet, and we'll hear it a little bit later, is the inside 2-minute situation at the half. They got a 10-point lead, right?
No, it was.
I mean, 12
20
point
to
lead.
12. 20 to 12. At
20
that
to 12,
point.
and it is
Yes.
an 8-point lead.
20 to 12. You start at your 20.
Yeah.
You move to the Seattle 12.
Right.
On 1st and 10, inside of 2 minutes to
You
go.
got the 2-minute warning, and now you run the ball with Chubb.
Run
and
Chubb.
what do you get?
Smart move. 2 yards.
2 yards.
Okay.
That's fine. Because I want to score a touchdown, but I don't want to use. I want to use up as much time on the clock as I can because I don't want to see Russell Wilson come on down, especially if Cleveland only gets a 3. Excuse me, out of it. So he's not only thinking getting a field goal. He's thinking to score and then score again inside 2 minutes.
He's thinking 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
I don't know of another NFL coach who thinks like that.
And if you did, that means you're really, really good, or you think you're really, really good, or you've done it before. What would make him believe he's going to score 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the half?
Especially when the first one would come on an 80-yard possession because it
Yes.
started at the 20. And you also you must take into account the opposition. You are facing a quality team in the Seattle Seahawks with a future Hall of Fame quarterback who happens to be playing at the top of his game.
Right.
You do not get greedy in that situation. You do not. No one does. Belichick. You really believe Bill Belichick and Brady would look at the clock with 1:30 to go
Yeah, it
and
depends
say,
on the team.
You know what? We're going to try to score 2 touchdowns.
There are some teams that would think like that about.
Who?
Maybe.
And especially, listen, it's one thing if you're playing a terrible team and a terrible quarterback and you think, hey, we're guaranteed to stop this guy and we're guaranteed to score. But there were no guarantees out there. You're a sub-500 team against a good Seattle team, and you're getting greedy like that?
And if Cleveland does stop them, they're going to boot the ball away, and you may have the ball at your own 20 again. Most probably would.
At a minimum, you get out of there at 23-12
Yep.
with 30 seconds left and no timeouts for Seattle. At that point, Russell Wilson goes to the locker room and says, I'm coming out to start the second half with the ball. I'll have to chip away on 23-12 in the second half. They're not even thinking about scoring at the end of the half. If you go in and you get a minimum field goal, 23-12, you have bled the clock, and they have no timeouts. But instead, you get reckless. You have your quarterback throw into coverage. You get picked. And now Russell Wilson goes, oh, my gosh. They left me a minute and a half or a minute and 20, and I've got a timeout to boot. I'm going. I'm going down the field.
That's almost cheating.
Yeah.
He's thinking.
I guarantee you mentally he said, there's no way that the Browns are going to do anything reckless here. I'm going to have to deal with them in the second half.
I don't want to see Freddie Kitchens fired
right
now. He was not my original choice, but that has nothing to do with it. And, you know, we've got him, and he's the one you got to go with at this point. I'm really tired of new coordinators, new head coaches, new everything, bringing in the new coach bringing in guys that he coached 5 years ago. I'm tired of seeing all that. But Freddie Kitchens gives me no ability to look at him and listen to him and say, that's the guy we need.
At this point, that's true. I mean, he's had one shining moment as head coach, in
Baltimore.
my opinion, and that was Baltimore. You say, well, what about the other way? Come on. It was against the Jets, Luke Falk, a terrible, dilapidated Jets team. By the way, how fortunate were the Browns? Sam Darnold returns from mono yesterday and leads the Jets to a victory over the Dallas Cowboys.
Unbelievable.
So what do you think the Jets game would have looked like if Darnold would have played?